It's
Right,
the
so
holiday season.
holiday season, Santa Claus.
Dickory dock. My, oh my, what a wonderful bow. All right, welcome back.
Nice, nice. Whew, I was wondering what you were gonna say there, Zach.
Welcome. I would say
Um,
welcome back to Christmas.
it's all I want when Christmas comes to town.
Is that the Josh Groban
That's
version?
right.
All right,
No, I don't believe he has a version.
sounded like it. Sounded just like him. We're here to talk about
Wow,
the Polar
that's high.
Express.
That's high praise. Thank you. Wow.
We're here to talk about the Polar Express. All right, it's the North
Yeah.
Pole, of course. All right.
Up to the
So
North Pole.
I'm sure
Tom Hanks.
you've all heard of it, at least. All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully
I,
you've seen it.
I will
Sounds like
say, in
you've
my
seen it.
experience, I feel like I never sat and watched the whole thing. I've had it,
Oh,
or
okay,
like
really?
actively. I feel like I've been places where it's been playing the whole time, and I'll watch it passively,
Mm.
and I've seen the large majority of it, at the very least. And I knew most of
Hmm.
the story beats, but this was kind of my first time watching it actively, and definitely, first time looking at it critically at all. So,
Yeah, I would say this is a pretty. See, it came out in 2004. This is his 20th anniversary this year. It was a new 4K transfer that just came out this year of it. I will say this. I've seen it pretty regularly. I don't want to say every Christmas since then. Because I didn't see it in theaters. I went and I think we got the DVD and we watched it probably I would say like once every other Christmas maybe at the most. I remember um having a mini DVD player and I remember watching it like that I basically had it was my dad's but I basically snuck it into my room
mhm.
so I watched a bunch of movies and stuff after going to bed for like most of the last couple of years of high school um just because I didn't have a TV in my room so and this is a movie I think I watched a couple times that way. Um, Seasonally appropriate. I think I even may have watched it just like a couple, even like once or twice, even when it wasn't Christmas. But so
Okay.
I've seen the movie plenty of times, probably over 10 times, I would say throughout my life.
So
Um,
now we know what we're cooking
uh,
with here. We
yeah,
wanted to review, a Christmas movie for the season. So this is one we just had top of mind. And as always with the reviews, we'll start with our gut check. This is our score coming into the review. How we're feeling about it out of 10. We'll do a review, and then we'll be able to lock in our final scores at the end. All right.
yeah.
3, 2, 1. 7.5 synergy.
All
An
right,
absolute
synergy right
synergistic
there.
moment.
A synergistic moment. There it is. 7.5. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, this is tough for me because this has a very special place in my heart. I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It is not a perfect movie by any means. There's things that looking at it with a more critical lens, it's things that I've always kind of been a little bit critical of it. But
You gotta
looking at
look
it
it
with a
in.
more critical lens,
You gotta look it straight in the
there's
eyes,
you know,
and
look it straight
just
in its dead
you notice
eyes.
something's a little off,
Um,
and tell it to him straight.
it's the thing is like to me, it's not. Actually don't think the dead eyes are the problem.
No, no,
I
no.
think that's more of a problem. I think it's more of a problem in Beowulf, which is the film I
Hmm.
think that Robert Zemeckis made after this. I think it's a way worse problem than that. The problem in this is that the facial animation is
Yeah.
not is off.
So
I don't think the eyes are necessarily the problem.
what I'll say is someone who doesn't regularly watch this movie, I've
Hmm.
seen it around a good amount, but I always just in my head, I'm always imagining it and associating it with like, the uncanny valleyness of it and how like off-putting it looked.
Mm.
And then when watching it, I'm like, oh, actually, this looks pretty good for the most part. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm not bothered by most of it. There's just a couple moments where the face is like, oh, and you have to, it'll take you out a little bit. There's that moment people
yeah,
always point to in the train with the girl when she like looking over with her like a smile, and it just looks.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
That's that is the probably the weirdest moment in the movie. Yeah. Um,
but so
which is funny because it's preceded by something that always stood out to me as like looking legitimately quite good which is it's just the shot of the hero boy coming aboard, like he's like coming up the train. Just the lighting of that shot has always looked really, really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like that's like, to me, it's like that I can understand the vision there. It's like it's trying to pass this animation, pass it off as like as almost like real in a way in the world. Like you really kind of buy into it, and then it's immediately like boom, you get this girl that doesn't. Unfortunately, her facial animation is, I would say, some of the worst in the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why that is. I guess maybe just because she has like these very pinchable rosy cheeks,
That's right.
and it just doesn't really, it just looks off whenever she's talking.
Do you have a favorite scene? Because there was one scene that stuck out to me in particular. Is there one you have in mind or no?
My favorite scene in this movie.
So I'm curious if
Oh,
you agree.
it's interesting.
Just it's like a
Um,
whole sequence, you know. It's no words spoken in my favorite scene.
no words spoken in your favorite scene.
Yeah, no words.
It's interesting. I don't, I'm not sure.
I'm just saying my favorite sequence in this movie is the ticket, following the ticket when it flies away.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. That
I
is a
think it's
great
so
sequence.
cool.
I agree. You know why? You know why that sequence is really good?
Why is that?
Because it's not mocap.
Yeah,
That's all just animation.
but it's so
It's
good.
really good animation too.
It's so good. I mean,
Yeah,
cause
it's really
it's really
good.
cool because you follow the perspective as it like goes into the bird. You follow that, feeds the baby bird, spits it out, rolls down here, and then all loops back to the train. I'm like, all right,
I,
yeah.
I'm gonna say, so. Having watched not every single Image Movers film, but having watched like probably more than half of them. Let's see. I don't necessarily remember if Monster House is an Image Movers movie, but I know this, Beowulf, A Christmas Carol, and Marzi's Moms, I think, were kind of the major ones. Before it went out of business with Marzi's Moms, because that movie tanked super hard. It was like one of the biggest failures at the box office, like in animation history. It was really bad. And Zemeckis loves, for reasons I can't quite explain, he loves roller coaster sequences. And this movie has like three of them.
Yeah,
And
literal roller coaster.
I'm kind
Yeah.
literal roller coaster moments. And as somebody who likes roller coasters quite a lot, it's really fun. It might, three is a bit much though. I will have to I do have to say that. It's kind of a
Whoa.
lot when you when it's like you got one on the train, then you've got two, maybe two on the train. You got like two on the train,
Mhm.
and then you've got the one where they're like where they're going in they're like going down this, they're sliding, the sliding down one.
Mhm.
And then there's one where they're going in the pneumatic. Well, that one's very short though. But there's a lot of a lot of like roller coaster esque moments
Yeah.
in this movie.
It's like they were anticipating the Polar Express 4D experience or something, you know. It's like we gotta get
Yeah,
ready
maybe.
because there was definitely a couple
Yeah,
very distinctly 3D moments. You know, like oh shoot,
which
I know that hit right. You know, the
which
freaking
is
train all up in my face. I'm like, oh yeah,
which is interesting because I don't even know if this movie had a 3D element
really?
in it at all. Like I don't know. I don't think
that
so
part,
because it
that
was
part.
2004.
Did you notice that part where the train is like all comes all the way up? I'm like, that was made for it. That was made
Maybe.
for it. It was
Yeah.
like sticking out already.
I'm trying to think of what I would say my favorite sequence in this movie is. I Because there's a lot of it that I like. It flows together, like is telling just like a really good story about like
It's a sweet little story, you know.
uh yeah, it's a wonderful story about like childhood and growing up and holding on to like holding on to innocence and like belief and faith. There's a lot
And
of
it's a great argument against
there's
stranger danger. It's like a beautiful, this
it's a
beautiful
great,
message.
yeah, just board a train, you know.
Just
Just get on a train. This
all
guy
these
shows up
kids,
in a train, magic train, just go on board, you know.
all these
Just roll
kids
on.
manage to just get out with ease, and they're just like waiting, like it's just a bus stop for them in the middle of the night. And this very
Um
creepy conductor I suggest you get on
I
board.
I like,
Hot chocolate.
even though it is kind of, even though, yeah, I was gonna say, even though it is, that's probably some of the more uncanny
I
bits of
hate
animation
those fucking
in the whole
freaks.
thing.
And the way they
They're
move really puts it's off-putting to me. Like the little
it's what's okay.
servers.
What's really bizarre about that? He uses stuff like that. Like you can see the tropes in all of them because A Christmas Carol has dancing like that too.
I
Like in one of the dance scenes in A Christmas Carol, he does like goofy stuff
don't
that
even
like
remember like a
that
Christmas
character
Carol.
should
I
not
know
be
I
able to
saw
do
that
that.
too. I don't remember anything about it.
Jim Carrey's performance is wonderful in it. I'll just say that.
Hmm.
But
Monster House, same as the Frat.
um,
Those are the three I've seen. So.
I think my favorite I think my favorite sequence in the movie is actually them exploring an empty North Pole. Like, because the North Pole is emptied out because all the elves are like doing last minute preparations and heading towards the like the town square for the send off of the sleigh. But I just love all the bits and character moments that happen throughout that because it's sort of the culmination of all the different character arcs. Um, and I feel they all have a fairly satisfying payoff because the girl stands up for herself. Um, Billy learns to rely on his friends, and the hero boy confronts his own doubts about all of it, everything.
Yeah.
Um, I really like I just like that whole thing, but it does a lot of like fun world building for like the idea of like what do the elves do with the I love the like they're looking over at the world map and it's like that last elf who's like a Jewish elf. He's like they sugar. What is this?
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we talking about, boss? Are we talking now for Christmas here? He's like, it's close to Christmas. We'll cut him some slack, but put him on the check twice list next year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was fun.
Like that's
You know, can I
awesome.
tell you, it really bothered me that they used live action like footage in there. There's something really
Isn't
off-putting
that
about
weird?
it.
Isn't that
They're
weird
looking
that
at
they
real
did that? Yeah,
kids, like they're not
yeah.
animated. It's like, okay, I don't know. There's something really off-putting to me about that motherfucker Billy too, though. Is it just me?
Oh, he's just a poor kid.
He just
What
looks weird to
your problem with him?
me.
He's the one that like it feels like they model him after a real actor,
Yeah.
like more than just like the others feel sort of like archetypal, like almost timeless in terms of their look, in terms of like their general look and aesthetic. But he feels like they had like somebody's like we'll take Frankie Muniz. We'll try to make him look like a tiny little Frankie
It
Muniz,
reminds
except
me of
he doesn't really look like Frankie Muniz, and it's really off-putting. Like that's kind of what I like. That's the I see where you're coming from there.
reminds me of the character Dewey from Girl Meets World. I don't know if you remember him, but uh, like there was this little running bit in Girl
Dewey?
Meets World where he was like doy. They would say doy or something.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that now. Because all I could think of was this was whatever Morgan Stern. I just remember her because she was funny.
Uh-huh.
But
I don't know why.
something Morgan Stern. Anyway, Girl Meets World talk.
But yeah, there's just a couple. They're just a little off-putting for me a little bit. But you
Yeah.
know, first I want to preface this by saying, if you're watching this channel, you should not be a child. This is not a child-friendly channel. All right, so
Okay.
retain your innocence now. To click away. I just found it.
Oh no.
I just find it really interesting now
no.
that this movie kind of like gaslights children. Like if children are watching this, because it's like
What?
because they like openly acknowledge like people doubting Santa Claus, and they basically like
Mhm.
dispel it with like, no, actually they're wrong, and magic is real. Like how silly of you to think that, the Santa's not real, right? And they literally pinpoint like in the very beginning they show him like making the arguments for why Santa's not real and stuff, and they basically are like, haha, very funny, but look how magical this shit is. Like Santa is real. and you're gonna believe by the end of this movie. It's like Santa propaganda, kind of. It's like something about it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right? It's straight up Santa
Um,
propaganda.
I mean, yeah, but it is. It's a movie,
I
Zach.
I
It's
get
not.
it,
It's
but
not like actually trying to proselytize
I'm just
the
curious
belief
because
of
I don't
Santa.
remember watching this at a super young age. I don't remember when it was that I watched it. But I'm just curious, like how really young children process this movie when they're healing. Like if they haven't had the doubts themselves, and then they hear the character doubting, or if they did have the doubts. I'm just curious what they think of the movie. You know?
Well, to me there's an interesting element of because yeah, we see like the note and stuff at the end and the bell. So there's a lot of the film though that like does sort of still lean into being extremely dreamlike through
Yeah.
most of it. Like especially even in how it ends, where he comes back and Santa has been there, and then when he wakes up, he rips a hole in it. Like he doesn't even remember going back to bed. It's just he wakes up and he tears the same hole into his pocket,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
with the marbles in it. The marbles are in it when he wakes up again. So it's like, so there is an element of it being a dream, but it,
But they have that little
yeah,
there's Santa's bell. Oh
yeah.
shoot.
But it's like that's a like that sort of goes to the that kind of goes to the beat. Just because it was a dream doesn't mean it wasn't. There's an element of it that's like just because it was a dream, it doesn't make it mean it wasn't real. So it's
Yeah.
like that's sort of the element of like yeah of like holding on to those sort of like childlike wonder, um, and everything. So
It's just kind of mind fucky at the end. Yeah. It's like what is real?
it's like it becomes a Darren Aronofsky film at the end. It's
like this
crazy,
like this dude
crazy. You don't know what's going on.
this dude Santa, like he had this whole dream and then he comes back. Yeah, the hole's not there and he does the hole again. And then Santa references the hole he just made, which he had made in the past, in the letter. So he's like a mind bending motherfucker, this wizard. He's a straight sorcerer, this guy. Man.
In
Crazy
fact, to the
lore.
point where the train that they get for Christmas morning is that it says the Polar
It's
Express on
so
it as
fucked
well.
up. Like what does the kid take away from this? I don't know. I don't know what I would take away if I was that kid and he just woke up and I would have been like my mind would have been blown. I'm like I don't know what to believe. I guess he's just magic. I don't know. I don't know what the movie's trying to say at the end. They're saying Santa's real, right? Like Santa's just a magical. It's just like a magical experience he just had.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think it's sort of that's to me is kind of the fun. I think with why I find this movie so fascinating is because like I feel like there are almost different ways to sort of interpret it. Like who, for example, my favorite character, because there's kind of no explanation in terms of who he is or like what he actually
yeah,
is in
yeah,
general, is the hobo,
yeah. Like why?
the train
Who?
hobo.
Yeah, no answers.
I there's not really an answer, and like my sort of what I've sort of come up to the multiple times I've watched it now, I would say like he's almost like a spirit of the train itself. It comes across to me as
Hmm.
like it could just be as simple as he's a manifestation. He's like a supernatural manifestation of the hero's guilt, and to some degree you could even say that like he shows up for different people in different ways, because the conductor makes mention that there was one time when he took a fall and didn't fall off the train, but he didn't fall off the train. Something saved him. He doesn't know what it was. He's no idea what it was. He didn't see it, but he knows that something was there. Something saved him,
Yeah,
on the train. So there's something there's even stuff that even the conductor, an adult, can't understand about the mysteries of the world. I guess you could say in some ways, which is that in and of itself is already an interesting thing, because it's like the adults don't have all the answers. Um, Mom and dad can't hear the bell at the end. They don't.
hmm.
There's an element of childhood that our hero holds on to and cherishes and holds dear and is important not to lose. So yeah. So anyway, all that to be said, I have come to interpret the hobo to be sort of like almost a spirit or manifestation of the train itself, essentially guiding. Because if you take it that way, it's guiding him toward, because all he does is like a feedback loop to sort of teach the boy a lesson about his own, what, because like in the scene where he talks to him, he just like asks him questions, and then all he does is just repeat the same questions back at him, like kind of reinforcing the guilt that he, not the guilt, but the doubt that he has. Like it's like, well, aren't we on a train? Are we? It's like, you mean, are you saying this is just a dream? Hey, you said it, not me. So he
those
doesn't
kinds of
like give him
things kind of
answers. Yeah.
insinuate to me that it is an eternal thing, that it's like
Mm,
a representation of the thoughts he's going through, and
yeah.
so I think it might be that. It's the less exciting
But
option, but
but he's the thing that he's the thing that rescues them. Like he
yeah,
pulls them back up onto the train.
I got
He shows them where the emergency brake is.
yeah,
Um,
but you could also interpret that as being like that's just him like pulling into that third gear, shifting into that third gear. You know, it's like him getting that
maybe.
strength to
Yeah.
pull him up, or
I
when he like gives him like
I think that's
a tip to like look out for this thing. It's just him like him
yeah.
locking in. This, you know,
Take a break, kid.
yeah. So I don't know. That's less exciting that it's just internally, but it's still fun either way. I'll say what I'm not a fan of. I'm not really a fan of the whole like dumb engineers bit. The two doofuses
Yeah, I
and the freaking yanking on
there's
the
something
beard.
charming. There's something charming about them. But I can't. Yeah, they're in the movie for too long. It feels like their bit is too long, and they're not even in the movie that they're not even in the movie that much. But like, it does feel like it's maybe overplayed. But I do like the fact that they snuck an adult joke into the movie through them though,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
which was fun. I'll tell you what's grass are
Ah!
yeah, yeah.
I remember watching this. Like this was on like a Christmas party I was at one point, just on the background, and this
Mm,
whole sequence where the train's freaking out on the ice and everything. I'm like, this is the wildest shit I've
yeah,
ever seen. Like just from 0 to 100, it's like
yeah.
just crazy, off the rails, literally. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this Polar Express business.
Okay, well, here's a thing. I think what ultimately elevates this movie to me as well is the music. The
Yeah,
music is just like, it's just timeless.
so
Like
good.
it is an inherent staple of, I think, every Christmas playlist now. It's first the song "Believe," which is the heartbeat of the score. But I
Yeah,
actually think "When Christmas Comes to Town" is also a really solid song. I think it's just a sweet
it's a
little
pretty good
duet
song.
between, yeah,
I do
it's a
find it
sweet
kind
little
of
duet.
odd how it's placed in the movie. I think it's like a little
Is a
out
little
of
weird, yeah.
place.
It did feel like, we need more songs in this film. You can't just have one. That's strange, and you can't just play over the end credits. The song in there.
Because
Well,
there's these
actually, we get the
bits.
hot chocolate. We can't just have the hot
Yeah,
chocolate song. We can.
there's bits like they're off-putting to me here and there, and that's like one of them. There's just like something slightly off-putting about when they just shift into song in that moment. It's just unsettling. It was something unsettling and shocking to me.
Shocking! It's the absolute shocked by
This
this
friggin'
movie because
Billy.
of the singing.
Billy's full of surprises,
It's
I tell you.
Billy's just flexing his pipes as I don't remember what this is quoting, but my housemate will sometimes quote something like, "Whoa, nice pipes, Tamika." Like
What?
it was kind of one of those moments.
Um,
um,
the know-it-all kid is fucking crazy. He goes
the know-it-all
crazy.
kid felt the know-it-all kid felt like a little like a friendly jab at the original author, like not like a jab like it's insulting him, but the reason that the author wrote the Polar Express is a fondness for where he grew up. He wanted to write a Christmas book, but he grew up in like the train capital of like the Midwest. I don't remember. I can't remember exactly where it
Okay.
was, but he a huge train enthusiast. Like he loves trains, and um, and the idea was write like a magic train that brings kids to the North Pole. So to me, it came across as like, yeah, I know everything about this train. It's this exact kind of model, and it's just like blah blah. And then from there, they're like, well, we can have him. Well, he's got to show up again, though. We'll make him like an insidious kind of dick towards the end as
Yep,
well.
he's pretty scary. Like when he looks right at the
Yeah,
camera, you use a lot of that, and
yeah.
crazy. There's something about like his voice lines. I mean, they hit. They're absolutely on point.
Montezuma drank
But
hot chocolate every day.
they're on point. But something about his voice lines that are like, it sounds like it's in a different gear than all the other voice lines. It's like
Maybe it was a different recording
it
booth or
felt
something. I
like
don't
it.
know.
It's like, whoa! Every time it
Yeah.
comes on super strong, whenever he says anything.
Well, there's some people like that though. There's some people that have their audio settings just
Yeah,
like they're on a different PC or something. I don't know.
this is
There's
what it
sometimes
felt
when some
like.
people talk,
It's
it
true.
does happen like that.
Yeah. Uh, shall we talk about Steven Tyler singing singing
That's the
Elf at
most
the
off-putting
end?
part of the whole. That's the most off-putting part of the whole movie to me.
That was definitely a
It's
part I
just
did not seen before, and I was like, "Whoa!" I immediately knew it was Steven
it's like
Tyler in there.
rocking on top of the
Rocking on
world.
top. Yeah, yeah, crazy. All right, but really, is it time to talk about Santa's bell at the end of Polar Express? It's time. Can I bring
And
up?
how it was used against
Can I
us.
bring this up? Let me find this comment real quick.
Yeah, let's bring it up. Bring it up.
Because this is like relevant to us. This movie, we're completing this loop of
After our wish review.
because on our wish review, a commenter disagreed with our takes on it, and they referenced
They made mention
Santa's
of
bell at the end of Polar Express.
yeah, Santa's bell.
My friend, I've come to a realization. As of right now, Wish is truly like Santa's bell from the ending of the Polar Express. It can only be truly seen and appreciated with the praise and respect it deserves by true Disney fans. Okay, so it's like we're not true Disney fans. We pick up that bell, which is Wish. We're ringing
Yeah,
it like,
and we ring it. We don't hear anything.
but the true Disney fans, you hand it over to them like, hell yeah, this Wish bell, it hits. Okay.
No, I disagree because
Yeah.
that's I'm sorry, but I disagree because that is the consuming mindset. Is all that
I
is.
do disagree, but I completely agree with adopting Santa's bell as part of our just like lexicon of how we refer to things.
I 100% agree. I think we're
That's
gonna
so
have to
good.
use it from here on out. Now
That's
that we
really
have it
good.
here,
Well,
now that we have this comment, so thank you, this commenter. We're gonna
yeah.
100% use the Santa's
At
bell.
Super Movie Master 21,
Okay.
that hit. It really did.
Yeah, it did hit.
Like
It did
like
hit.
you just tell anybody. It's just like this is Santa's bell at the end of the Polar
Yeah.
Express. Like you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
You're a non-believer,
So
so you wouldn't hear it.
you're a doubter, a doubter. You don't believe.
Crazy.
Tom Hanks had a lot of fun with this movie, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets to be.
Absolutely.
You get to be all kinds of. You get to be freaking Santa Claus, but he had to be the conductor, who's just that archetype of character. I love. I love the kind of like he's sort of a stuffy
Yeah.
adult. He's kind of all business, but like he's compassionate towards the children.
Good hole punching bit
Um,
or ticket punching
yeah,
bit.
the whole punching bit.
The
I-
little thing
I
getting on the kid like the little hole punching thing.
I may just be an old railroader that knows nothing about lighter than aircraft, but I believe you need more altitude.
He was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, but energy was needed
love him.
for sure. What do you
Mhm.
think? Do you think the reveal, the ticket punch reveal at the end, does that hit for you? For how each kid has different little phrases and words.
So, and that's another. That's another. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I love that because it's the internalization, what they learn. What this experience, what this time on the Polar Express sort of like does for all of them or teaches all of them what
Mhm.
they need to know because I love like you see the detail of him putting the ticket back in the pocket and the ticket just completely disappears. It goes away entirely.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the ticket is like that's like the lesson you're learning. That's the thing that they're internalizing or being
We can use
changed
that.
about
We
them
can use
through this
that too. It's like
experience.
the
So
tickets
yeah,
at the end of
yeah,
the Polar Express.
the golden
This
ticket.
is the lesson we were meant to learn. Yeah,
Mm,
there's some good stuff there. Um,
yeah,
as far as like like little character arcs for these characters, and the interesting way that they don't have like not all named characters. That's interesting too.
mm. Yeah. I think I like how that sort of makes it feel like a lot more universally relatable. I think in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's just like
Um,
you apply the lesson, or like the
yeah,
character that feels like closest to you, or the lesson you might need to learn. Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
I thought it was
Good stuff.
crazy that girl went to lead before thinking it said lead. What kind of kid is this?
She's a
Lead?
very smart, very bright kid.
Yeah.
Led.
The hell? Alright.
Lean. What the heck does that mean? Lean has 4 letters. I believe I punched 5.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like okay, I could have told you that guy likes to learn. You know, I mean, I could have
No,
told you
he
that day
needs to
one.
learn. He needs to learn. He needs to learn a lesson to be not a little know-it-all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be kinder. That's the lesson he needs to
Yeah.
learn. Selflessness.
The final little thing that I noticed was a nice little. It's basically nothing, barely worth mentioning, but it's like
Mm.
when the boy said goodbye to the girl, he got a nice little hug in, and then he followed it up with a handshake. I was like, the
Yeah, I
combo
love
goes
that.
crazy.
No, I love
I love
that.
it
I
too.
love that so much because it feels so much like kids. Like I've seen like kids can sometimes be like funny like that or like awkward at interacting or saying goodbye to each other. It's very yeah, that felt really real to me. I really like that a
Hmm.
lot too.
So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to this movie. It's just there's certain things that are hard to deny that do bring it back from like
Yeah. Weird
the polish of like
weird
a higher score for me. But
mm. It is that sort of stuff that it's like why I get that we're really trying to push the technology and the technology is impressive, but why do we have to like use it? Don't rely on it entirely for everything. Like you can fix some of that stuff with actual animation. Does not absolutely everything has to be just the mocap is everything because it does everything about it. Like you get used to it when you're watching it, but at the same time, it's like it still looks off. It still just looks off, and um, yeah,
yeah,
it's sort of it is kind of the main thing that holds it back. Again, too many roller coaster sequences. They're fun. I like them, but like there's a period of time where it feels like it's there to pad the movie's runtime out a little bit.
hmm
Um,
but it's absolutely like a cozy movie for sure. A lot of
yeah,
these movies that I would
yeah,
watch that I would definitely consider watching every year. I wouldn't give them a 9 out of 10. They're not necessarily the most perfect movie, but there's certain ones. Like kind of like a Halloween Town. Even though I did give it a higher score, I still acknowledge it's not a
mm,
perfect movie, especially the sequels. But it's like they're still cozy. And
yeah,
especially the original Halloween Town. I throw it on every year, but I wouldn't claim it to be a 10 out of 10 movie. You know.
right.
So if I'm looking at it critically, the Polar Express 7.5 is still a seal of approval. I don't know. Maybe we
Yeah,
change our scores, but um,
yeah. I mean, I don't know if we need to paddle it up again.
paddle it up.
Should we for posterity paddle it up
We have
again?
to, because now we can blindside each
Have
other
to.
if one of us chooses
No,
to.
we
It's like
can. Yeah,
Survivor. Like
it's
now
true.
I
It
can
is
whip
true.
out a 9 here. I'm with you. I'm voting. I'm writing down 7.5.
Yep. 7.5. Yep.
Definitely 7.5. Three,
Yeah.
2, 1, flip. See, I told you 7.5 all
Yeah.
along. All right.
See, we were telling the truth. We
That's
weren't
it.
we weren't
Now you
exaggerating or
believe me
nothing.
next time I say that too.
Yeah, I will. That's the survivor
Is
way
he
to
back?
make them believe you.
He backed it up. I mean, last time he said what
Yeah.
he wrote down what he said he was gonna write down.
Yeah. I mean, he's a snake. He lies, but he also tells the truth sometimes.
7.5.
Um.
Tarqaron score. Oh my god, this chair. Tarqaron scored a 7.5.
Yeah, no,
It's a
this
sweet
is a
movie.
favorite. I mean, there have been there have been some years where like this movie will can sometimes hit me pretty hard emotionally, but this wasn't one of the times. This movie is still very special for me. I really like it a lot, and I will say 4K transfer, immaculate. This is probably the best the movie is literally ever going to look. Um, so I'd say go for it. I think it looks great. Very maybe not quite as drastic as like the Elf 4K transfer. That movie looks like a brand new movie basically. With its 4K, it looks that
Hmm.
Elf 4K huge fan of that. Definitely invest in that if you just have the Blu-ray. Go for 4K on that.
It sounded an
This
awful lot like the Know-It-All Kid. Not gonna
yeah,
lie.
this looks really good.
You gotta get the 4K
I don't know
Ultra.
if you know this, but you got to get the 4K. The 4K version's the way to go. Yeah. So it's nice that they had there's a new version of it, new transfer out of it for the 20th anniversary. It's
Hmm.
crazy that it's that old.
Um, yeah, in the hot chocolate song, a couple years ago, I went with
Mm.
some friends to. There's like a Christmas light show where you go on the back of
Hmm.
this like truck and it blasts that hot chocolate song and then it's like wow that's a good vibe for a Christmas light show.
So
Hot chocolate.
locally to me here, locally to me here, there are the train that's nearby here. They do a Polar Express event. Like they
Mm-hmm.
do a little thing where they go from one stop to another. They do like a little thing for the kids, and I think
Cool.
that's kind of cute.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
they
there it
serve hot
is.
chocolate, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got to. We'll see.
Yeah,
There's so many fun Christmas movies to get to. It's just a shame every
yeah.
time we get around Christmas time. There's a lot going on, so we're only able to squeeze in like
Mhm.
one here or there. But
Yeah.
there's a big one. I want to do some of the classics sometime. Like, give me like a Rudolph,
Oh
Frosty the
yeah, like
Snowman,
the
classic.
Rankin Bass. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Classics. Those are
Or just like the Santa Claus. There's a lot of
the
ways you can
Santa
go.
Christmas with the Cranks. You
Oh,
want to get.
okay.
So I love that. That reaction that's the correct reaction, by the way.
But Christmas movies are fun. I mean, there's a lot. There's still a bunch of like, how they had like Shrek the Halls and all that. They have so many different like
Mm.
animated. There's like Beauty and the Beast Christmas special. There's like a Kung Fu Panda holidays, stupid shit like that.
The Star Wars holiday special.
Mm-hmm. Where can I watch that?
A lot of places.
Really?
No, nowhere legally, but
Okay.
because George Lucas tried to destroy every copy of it
Yeah.
that he could.
Because I would
That
genuinely
is a
watch. I would review that. That would be funny.
we should. I mean, we should honestly. It's though I you I you I'm going to advise you because of how I tried to watch it once. You absolutely have to watch it in a group setting because you're not going to be able to get through it without
Okay.
some support.
Really?
It's it's the first like 20 minutes of it are excruciating. Like you do not want to continue watching because I didn't. I stopped about 15 minutes in. I was like, I can't take it. I
Mm.
can't take this anymore.
Mm.
Do you know how that starts?
I don't think so.
Untranslated Wookiee
Oh yeah, I feel like you
for
told me that in the
15
past.
minutes.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, it's
Love that actually.
horrible. No, it's the worst.
That slaps. Shit. All right. If
Slaps
you
it.
enjoyed our
Slap
review
something.
of the Polar Express, go check out our review of Elf. You mentioned
Yeah, I was gonna say we reviewed
Elf.
Elf last year, so yeah,
I mean, that's one of those like cozy movies that also
yeah.
is deserving of a
Every
super
year,
high
10 years.
score. So,
We did our 10th year
oh,
celebration of it
good,
this year. It's our 10th Elf on the 12th.
good.
And we tried to start watching that with commentary. We quickly turned both commentaries off. We were like, we can't stand this anymore. So very boring commentaries, unfortunately.
Cool.
Very unfortunate. But
That's dope.
yeah.
All right. Thank
Good
you for
movie though.
watching. Subscribe to the channel. And happy holidays as well, all right?
Yeah. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Have a
Merry
good stay
Christmas.
safe out there. Travel safe, all that.
All right. Take care.